Coming to the meaning of the term Islam, and that's very essential also in understanding terms like jihad and similar key terms, key Islamic terms. In the Arabic language, there is a system known as a root system whereby, like, you have 3 letters, and then you have letters in between, before and after, so you can derive terms from that root. It is impossible to understand any term without getting some handle on the meaning of the root system itself, or what the root means. Islam comes from SLM, or Sin Lam Mim in Arabic, so I'm just giving you the sound in English, which actually means peace, it means submission, and purity as well. Here are a few examples. You notice the variations in color here. The SLM appear in all of these, whether you're using terms, verbs or nouns, past tense, present tense, all of which has always the SLM, and that's how the meaning actually is reflected because of that root. Based on the linguistic origin, then, the religious definition of Islam is to achieve or attain peace, because that's at the heart of the root meaning. And peace here means peace with God, with Allah, which is the foundational, resulting in peace within oneself, inner peace. And if indeed a person is true, not just paying lip service to peace with God and peace within himself or herself, they're bound to be peace also with all the creation of Allah, whether humans, animals, plants, ecology. This is not just a modern definition. If you go back to the primary source of Islam, 14 centuries old, then you find references to all of these relationship of peace with the rest of the creation of Allah. How could that peace be achieved? Only through submission, willing submission to Allah, in trust, in love, and trying to translate that belief, not in words, but in action and obedience to Allah. So far, we've been speaking about the linguistic meaning or religious meaning of Islam, but it is more than that. And as some of you who heard my dear brother Ers earlier this afternoon, peace, or the concept of peace, Sin Lam Mim again, is inherent in many theological and eschatological terms in Islam. One of the attributes of Allah is As-Salam, the peace, literally, or the source of peace, absolute peace. The hope of every human being who believes in Allah is to land in paradise, which is called the house of peace. The Qur'an beautifully describes how people entering into paradise will be greeted by the angels at the gate of paradise. Salamun alaykum, telling them, peace be with you. How believers meet each other in paradise and greet each other with the same greeting. And finally, there's only one greeting that I know of in the whole world, which is exactly the same in all human languages. Wherever you find Muslims, you go anywhere in the world, and you say Assalamu alaikum to any Muslim, it is in his language also the same greeting that means peace be with you. But there is something even more than that. If you take it one step further, you will find that peace and security is inherent in the 5 broad objectives of Islamic law, or Sharia. Based on the Qur'an and Hadith, the 2 primary sources, there are 5 important objectives of Sharia law in that order of priority: safeguarding faith, and the Qur'an makes it clear, let be no compulsion in religion; safeguarding life, and the Qur'an clearly states that anyone who takes away a life of a single human being without justification, he's like one who killed the whole of humanity, and anyone who saves a single life, he's like one who saved the lives of the whole of humanity. And the Qur'an says this was the same teaching given to prophets in the past. Safeguarding the mind, and that's why Islam prohibits intoxication and encourages learning. Safeguarding honor. Classical scholars interpret that in a narrow way to refer only to protection or safeguarding of the family, or honor in the sense of protecting the honor of women. But in fact, the concept is broader in the Qur'an, and in Surah Al-Isra, Surah 17, Allah says, indeed, we honored the children of Adam. So there is a broader concept of honor for a human, being a human, irrespective of ethnicity or religious beliefs. And finally, safeguarding property or wealth. And if you look at the 5 objectives, peace, again, and security seem to be at the heart of that. So I hope that there is ample evidence, linguistically, in terms of definition, in terms of theological terms, eschatological terms, objectives of Islamic law, that peace is a much deeper concept that permeates the very structure and teaching of Islam in every aspect of life.